Today we're going to be making the world's greatest pizza. And as everybody knows, the main ingredient in making a pizza perfect is the dough.
It's the dough, Roper, or we gotta break something.
We're going to start with a large mixing bowl and these fine ingredients. We have wheat flour, cornmeal, baking mix, sugar, and yeast. We're going to preheat the oven so that it will be warm enough to help the dough rise. So you turn it on to a warm setting, whatever. Then I'm going to fill up the bowl with the exact right amount of water for making the dough. I want to use hot water, and I want to fill it up to exactly right there. No more, no less than just that amount right there. So we're going to take the water and add the yeast. Now these things are little creatures of some sort. I don't know exactly how that works, but they apparently come alive when you mix them in the water. So you just put in about that much, and then we'll stir it up. Forgot a couple other things we're going to need. One is a mixing spoon. You got to stir up those little yeasty guys to get them to start coming alive and growing. And they apparently produce something that makes the dough more fluffy. They also need a little bit of cooking oil. That means my oven's preheated. I'm going to go ahead and turn it off, but it'll stay warm. I'm going to put in about a teaspoon or so full of oil. And I'm also going to add just a little bit of salt. I like to use seasoned salt just because it adds a little extra flavor to the crust as well. And while I'm on that subject, we're going to add a little bit of sugar. I like my dough just a little bit sweet, and I think this is one of the things that makes it the world's finest pizza. In addition to the sugar and the salt, the yeast needs a little bit of dough material to feed off of to begin the rising process. I'm going to put in just a little bit of cornmeal and a little bit of wheat flour. Then I'm going to stir it up real good. And that will give the yeast time to start working. And we're going to give it a little bit of time to begin the rising process before we add the rest of the dough ingredients. And the rest of the dough ingredients are basically just flour and baking mix. And that's what the dough will be made out of. So once I get this mixed, I'm going to put it in the warm oven and let it just sit for a second. While the dough is starting to do its magical thing, we're going to start preparing the other ingredients. And the first ones I need to get to work on are the meat ingredients. Now you can put whatever you want to on your pizza, but I use pepperoni and sausage. So I'll go to the refrigerator, pull out my Jimmy Dean sausage. I just happen to like this, and it's on sale. And then the critical ingredient is the pepperoni. Now, if you can get Mickey Mouse, Disney pepperoni, that's the best way to go. I'm kidding. It doesn't matter what kind of pepperoni you use. I like turkey pepperoni just because it's a little less fat, and the Disney stuff was on sale. Who wants to buy pepperoni made out of mice anyway? Then I get a big wad of paper towels here because I'm going to soak up as much of the grease off the pepperoni as I can. I like it nice and crisp on top of my pizza. Again, this is something you'll each do to suit your own taste. So what I'm going to do is just take the entire package of pepperoni, dump it onto the paper towels. This has been in the freezer for a while, so there's a little bit of moisture on it, but that doesn't hurt anything. Then I'm just going to fold the paper towels around and put the whole thing in the microwave. You can be a little more sophisticated than that in how you prepare your pepperoni, but I'm going to cook it for 3 minutes, and we'll see how it goes during that time. In the meantime, put it on the pan, start cooking the sausage. You need a sharp knife, and I'm going to cut open the sausage roll. This is pretty simple stuff. Throw it in the pan. Just drop it in the pan, turn the burner on to somewhere around medium heat, and let it sit for a minute. While that's cooking, I'm going to go ahead and clean off this knife. It's a very special knife. I got this at the Kansas State Fair back in the early 1980s. Bought it from one of those guys that gives the whole production. You could cut a tin can with it, but you wouldn't want to. And I've had this knife for 20-some years, and it still could cut a tin can. It's a great knife. I'm not real sure what the pointy little things on the end are for, but it's not necessary to have this to make a great pizza. I'm just proud of it and wanted you to know about it. We're going to use this knife again here in a few minutes to cut our vegetables, which are very important for the topping of the pizza. In the meantime, our pepperoni has finished, so I want to check on that. What I'm looking for is very crispy pepperonis, and some of the ones around the edge are, but most of them are still pretty flimsy and they haven't really gotten crispy yet. So I'm going to wad that back up in the paper towel, throw it back in the microwave, give it another minute or two. You can hear by how much it's popping whether it's done or not. Now I'm going to start preparing the vegetables. Nice big green pepper. The only reason I bought such a big one is they were on sale by unit, not by pound, so I figured might as well get the biggest one I could for the price. In the meantime, you can hear the pepperoni sizzling there. I know it's starting to get done. We'll check that again in just a second. But I'm going to go ahead and cut this green pepper up with my Miracle Wonder knife. And I'll get ready to prepare that to go on the very top of the pizza while the meat cooks.